You want to see a director who's hot? James Cameron is hot. Now, I'm not referring to the lights. Listen, after Terminator and now Aliens, you're scaring the hell out of people. You like that? Is that what you want to do?
Are you trying to make me feel guilty?
I don't
feel the least bit guilty because I know people like to pay good money to get to feel an intense experience and get that adrenaline rush.
There's nothing worse than being ripped off coming out of a horror film that has not delivered the goods.
Right.
But when the mama, the mothership, I don't know quite how to put it. Yes, I know. Okay, let's go back to this picture now. They're like all great films, and it is a great film.
Thank you very much.
I'm saying that on camera.
Is he saying this on camera?
Like all great films, it does step upon the shoulders of those things that preceded it.
Right.
Okay, first off, them. 1954, we find the traumatized child wandering in the desert.
That's, them is very interesting because I had written the script, and I always have my friends read it and give me their feedback. And one of my friends says, "You really should rent them."
Oh, you hadn't seen it?
Well, no, wait a minute. Rent them. I said, no, I saw it when I was 5 or 6, on television when I lived in Canada. He said, we'll just rent it. And so I went and got the tape, and I was quite surprised about the whole sort of little subplot of the little girl, because there's obviously some similarity there.
She's clutching a doll.
But she's clutching a doll. That's right. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But I think there are lots of films with little children in jeopardy, and I think it's a confluence of elements there that's probably subconscious.
Yeah, and I hope you understand when I'm putting you in the class of them. I use that word class advisedly. That is a great picture.
It's actually a pretty good film. I was surprised. Who directed that again?
Gordon Douglas, I believe.
Gordon Douglas, yeah. It's actually a pretty good film. I was really surprised because you remember it as being a real low-grade.
Oh, those creatures crawling through the tunnels, the storm drains, and all of that.
It must have left an impression on an 8-year-old mind, however old I was.
As I watch the characters in deep crouches go through the tunnels in Aliens, I think this has got to be the ultimate scare tactic here. You're confined. You're in a maze.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost in a way like a video game. It's like Pac-Man in a sense, except that you care about the people a hell of a lot more. Plus, it's very subjective because you're in there with them.
Also, James, I never thought in my lifetime I would see a film that came as close to what Heinlein visualized and dreamed of in Starship Troopers. Combat in the future.
Right.
I don't know if you know the Heinlein book. I know Michael Biehn had a copy of it in his fatigues on the set.
That's right. A couple of the cast members brought it in, and there are a number of books that tons of short stories and a number of novels that deal with the idea of the infantry in the future, and I think it's such a natural concept. I'm really surprised that it hasn't been done. Or done in the way that we do it. In other words, there have been future soldiers in lots of films. Even in Terminator, we had sort of the guerrilla infantry of the future. But this really more addresses sort of those old 40s films, Back to Baton.
Richard Widmark, somewhere in there.
Guadalcanal Diary and all that sort of thing.
When the Marines leave orbit and they go to the surface, it is a military operation. And boy, snap, crackle editing too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what was fun about it, was getting that sort of precision cutting and movement and all that. And I tried to pay a lot of attention to the military idiom, the way they talk, the way they behave, the psychology of command.
And the weapons. You must have felt like a kid in a big toy factory or something. This weapons thing is wild.
Well, I don't know. I suppose it's probably not too healthy to have an overweening fascination with machines of death. But let's face it. We all played with guns when we were kids, and as long as it remains in the fantasy realm, I suppose it's not going to do any harm. But we had a lot of fun designing the weapons and trying to make them seem realistic as well, as opposed to laser guns, with the zap zap sort of thing. Making them seem more near future.
Those things must have been heavy to carry around for the actors.
Well, Jeanette Goldstein, who plays Vasquez, the sort of Chicana team point man, so to speak, had to carry one of, they're actually called smart guns. It doesn't show up in the dialogue in the film, but that's what I called them because they were supposed to be gyro-stabilized, computer-aimed things. And her smart gun weighed about 45 pounds, and she was 5'2" and weighed about 95 pounds. And she had to run with it. So fortunately, she was in very good shape.
James, would you assure your fans especially those fans of the tech noir club that got demolished in the Terminator, that Tech Noir is alive and well. Would you explain?
That's the name of the production company that myself and my partner, who's also my wife, Gail Hurd, who produced Aliens, have formed as an umbrella for our subsequent productions. Aliens is not a tech noir film, but anything that we do after this point will be. Aliens being, a straight sort of Fox production.
What can you reveal now about some of the priorities to come after Aliens, with tech noir, for example?
Well, I mean, I think that we'll always want to do the sort of thing that we've been doing in a recurrent way, meaning that we will return to doing action, science fiction, that sort of thing, and hopefully serving it up in a high quality format. But we'll want to explore other things as well. Gail's producing a picture called The Silent Man, which deals with apartheid. It's a superb script. It's a very serious film. I'm not directing that one. The next thing that I direct, I can't tell you what that's going to be because I haven't written it yet, but and I haven't thought about what I'm going to write yet. But it will probably be more of an actor's picture. That's one of the things that I'm more interested in right now.
What does it take coming out of you? What's inside you that enables you or compels you to make films with such relentless drive? Where in the world does that come from?
It's I don't know. It's hard to say. It comes from.
You look pretty normal to me.
Yeah, I don't. Well, you never know. I mean, if the demons weren't unleashed through film, I'd probably go and be, somewhere in.
Well, there's a theory about that sort of thing.
On Thorazine, No, I don't think that's true. I think it just has to do with how films that I liked, I remembered, enjoying and having that exhilaration hit me, and I want to transfer that back to other people, and just studying the craft and learning how to do it, and the special thrill as a filmmaker comes from seeing an immediate audience response. Now, the only other sort of genre, or if it's not even a genre, but the only other thing that has that effect in films is comedy, and comedy is not my forte demonstrably yet.
A lot of people found that in Terminator.
And there's some comedy in this film,
Indeed.
but for a film to function as a comedy, I think there's a special magic there, and I'm creeping toward it, but I'm not sure I can do that. But that's the other area where you can look at a sea of 700 faces and see them all having the same reaction, and you're touching them. I'm not a performer. I can't stand up on a stage and tell jokes or sing or do something that affects people directly. The closest thing for me is being able to sit in a theater and watch a reaction to something that I've put up on the screen. So it's at one remove, but it's the same sort of feeling. That's where the drive and the desire to do that comes from.
Drive is right. This man is hot, but he can also chill our bones. There's a paradox for you. With James Cameron, director of Aliens, from New York City for KCTV5, I'm John Tibbetts.